Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Welcome to Woods Walk Gun Talk number 15 with J-Bo. Walking with J-Bo. As you can see, we've had some more storm damage from the storm we had. We've had like 4 pretty nasty storms. This last one dumped 2 inches of rain. This is going to be a little bit of a soggy walk. I'm wearing my waterproof boots. So, gun talk. Well, first of all, I want to say happy Patriots Day to everybody. As we look at this incredible damage done this winter, trees down everywhere over here, pretty crazy. And now we have some new ones that weren't here on our last walk through here, like right in here. Everywhere you look on this part right here, there are trees down. So we had 40-45 mile an hour gusts with a lot of rain, and the problem is we had a little over 2 feet of snow in 2 weeks with that rain, so it all melted at the same time. The ground is hyper saturated, and windstorms that normally don't knock trees over are knocking trees over. One of my walks that I recorded, we saw a big giant pine tree crash into a house. And the house had damage. So speaking of damage, I watched the Maine State Senate to vote on gun legislation Friday, which one of them we did okay on. It's dead in the water. And 4 of them we did not. And it was kind of expected to pass in the Senate because they were Senate bill initiatives by a ranking member, Peggy Rotundo. It's from Lewiston here, lives in Lewiston, Auburn area. And she's the one that really sponsored most of this in response to the mass shooting last year. And the thing is at least 3 of the 4 were on their docket last year. They didn't pass. So they're thinking that because we've had a mass shooting, they will pass this time. And they did in the Senate anyway. As we got this tree right here. This sounds all hollow. It's all soft. So that tree's pretty much rotted, cracked at the bottom, and it fell, but it's leaning up against that one. So if I really wanted to, I could throw something around that notch right there and pull it down. But I'm not going to do that. But anyway, what did they pass Friday? They passed, well, there's a couple that they're changing the yellow flag law to basically a mild red flag law. And now they're making it possible for law enforcement to take somebody's firearms without a court or a judge. And to me, that is, the yellow flag law we had was sufficient. It just nobody followed up on it. So rather than hold people accountable, they're going to change it so they don't need to hold people accountable, I guess. Now, just on the suspicion, somebody might do a mass shooting because a family member or currently in a divorce wife on hearsay says they're dangerous. Now their guns can be seized if it passes the House. Well, here's the thing. the House is a lot closer than the Senate is, just by a handful of seats. And my local representative is a Democrat, and I had to talk with him on the phone recently. And he said all he's concerned about is the mental health aspects of gun control, not actual gun control. Now, does that come into play with waiting periods with him? I guess I'll find out when he votes, because he wouldn't tell me on the phone. Which is realistic, because, you know, he doesn't know if I'm working for a news magazine or some anti-democrat thing. So, but I do know his past record. He has voted against gun legislation, so I'll just leave it at that. So we'll see if the mass shooting has changed his mind. When I talked to him, he said more people have contacted him with regard to supporting gun measures than previously. Since the mass shooting, more people have been more interested in it, and that's just a fact of it, which is why I hate to see mass shootings happen, because it gives Democrats ammunition, figuratively. So that's where we are on that, on this beautiful 60-degree day. I am wearing just a long sleeve shirt with a loose fitting t-shirt on top of that, which is an Iron Maiden t-shirt, actually, because I like Iron Maiden. And also, this is the first day I walk without some sort of legging underneath my pants, because now it's noticeably warmer. I don't need those. So I'm not seeing any ducks today. There's some mosquitoes here. They're awake. So I'm going to keep moving so I don't get eaten. They're hungry. Don't eat me. I need my blood. So I think we'll go up this way. So anyway, what did they vote on? Golly gee. They voted on strengthening the yellow flag law by doing as I just stated, giving law enforcement more leeway on reasonable suspicion, reasonable cause. And so they passed that. They also passed the online advertisements. Now, this has been a craw, stuck in their craw with Democrats here. They don't like the fact that you can go on a classified magazine site like Uncle Henry's, go find a 1960s Marlin 336 and buy it without a federal firearm license. Person for a private sale can just sell one without having an FBI background check to whoever responds to the ad. Maine has laws in place where if you knowingly, that's the key thing there, knowingly sell a firearm to somebody that shouldn't have one, and it is used for something bad, like a crime or murder or whatever, then you can be prosecuted. So people here are already aware of that, and they don't just sell guns to anybody. Now, the real problem is, this is the only thing I will concede, is that a few, okay, I want to reiterate, a few firearms ended up out of state, bought privately in Maine, and used or found at crime scenes in New York, Connecticut, etc. Purchased online here. Not actually purchased online, but it's a classified. So you respond to it and say, yeah, I'll buy that from you. I'll meet you here and pay you the money. It can be out of the trunk of your car in a parking lot. It could be at somebody's private residence, whatever. And I've used Uncle Henry's During the shortage we had, I found one guy that was in the Navy. He was getting transferred to Alaska, and he wasn't going to be allowed to bring his firearms or his ammo, so he was selling his stuff. So a lot of the ammo, firearms he had was 22s and things like that. I wasn't really interested in those. There wasn't anything that grabbed my fancy that he had, but he had a whole crap pile of 22 LR ammunition, which at the time during the pandemic was getting pretty difficult to find at an affordable price. So we bought a whole bunch of it off this guy, hundreds of rounds, at a good price, because he needed the money and he was limited for time. I guess he was going to be getting shipped out of Bath, Brunswick Naval Yard. So that's what we did, and that was the purpose of Uncle Henry's. So if you're looking to buy like an old Winchester or an old Marlin, and granted there are newer rifles on there, but the thing is they're all used. They're not new. And like I said, a few firearms ended up at criminal crime scenes, either used or the person arrested had it on them. So I understand where the Democrats are coming from, but it's not a huge problem, I guess is my point. In other words, criminals can get firearms illegally elsewhere. They don't need to come to Maine to do it. And basically, Democrats are using this as an excuse, along with the mass shooting. Robert Card did not use an illegal firearm, and previously the going after Uncle Henry's and classifieds was not supported by Democrat voters, so it didn't go anywhere last year. They couldn't get anything passed last year. So the only thing that's changed is we had a mass shooting, and the Democrats are going for it again. So what does that mean? Well, the Democrat talking point in Maine, they keep bringing up Facebook. Private gun sales through Facebook. It's like, well, I'll wait till these people go by. I don't want to talk about firearms with people I don't know. They'll be acting weird. So we'll just go up here. Hello. So as I was saying, whew, this hill gets me every time. That's good though. So what I was saying is, they're trying everything again. I think we'll fare better in the House than we did in the Senate. So the other thing they passed was, well anyway, what they were talking about is Facebook. Now they're talking about people in gun groups on Facebook saying, I got a this, I got a that. And then they go to private messages and they agree to meet and buy it, look at it, whatever, which is not illegal in Maine. It's just not. Democrats just don't like it. They think it should be illegal. So there's that. So that's what brought that on. So with that, they're trying really hard, and we need to make sure they fail. So I've contacted my local representative who knows me by now. And so I kind of chewed his ear a little bit on the national popular vote, which he voted for. And that passed in the Senate also. And that's going to go to the governor. And if the governor doesn't sign it, it becomes law automatically, which is the same as her signing it. As far as I know, she hasn't signed it. I don't know politically what that signifies for her, but she obviously made a decision. If we look at this big cracked tree right here, that fell right here on top of that other tree that uprooted. So you got like two trees laying on top of each other, or lying on top of each other. And so she's not going to sign it, and at least I don't think she did. I've been looking for material. I think she had a deadline of today to sign it, actually. I think it's 3 days. No, actually, that passed last week. So that date's gone by. And I haven't heard anything about her signing it. So see the mess over here? So anyway, I decided to go for a walk today. Do my woods walk, gun talk, number 15. Now that it's warmer, pretty soon we're going to have green leaves coming out. A lot of these branches and trees that fell are going to start to turn brown. Nature will absorb itself, like it always does. So anyway, back to Facebook, private sales. It's not illegal. You just can't talk about it on your profile with other people or gun groups. You take it to private messages, which are supposed to be private, which, as we know on Facebook, they're not. So, oh, we got another big broken tree here. That wasn't broken the last time. So, new damage. The forest is upset. But as we can see here, this has been an ongoing thing here. We get broken ones from years ago here. So, Uncle Henry's seems to be the one that really burns their keister. And they want to require an FFL for everybody except family and relatives. And part of that bill, which is LD 224, is to strengthen the punishment for knowingly selling a firearm to somebody that shouldn't have one. Now, what constitutes somebody having one that shouldn't have one? Let's say, for example, in my opinion, what this law does is the 5'2" little blonde girl who could barely fight off anything attacking her other than another 5'2" blonde girl, never owned a firearm, and she wants to buy a firearm because somebody's been threatening her that is 6'5", 260 pounds, and some obsessed male that wants her very badly and threatened to kill her. So she's going to be denied her Second Amendment right to protect herself because she's going to have to hope that this guy waits 72 hours before he attacks her, which we know is wrong. So that takes protection away from somebody that should have protection. This law that they want to pass is premised of somebody spur of the moment buying a firearm to kill themselves or other people. And this spurs out of the mass shooting. And again, Robert Card had many firearms of his own. He didn't need a waiting period. It's not a problem in Maine. Suicides are a problem, but if you look at the stats, most of the time it's the most popular way, which is hanging with people that don't own firearms. And they can currently go buy a firearm without a waiting period. So the whole argument is bunk. Peggy Rotundo brought that up because she said she knew a constituent who killed herself instead of getting help. And they went and bought a firearm and killed themselves that day with it. Which is true, which is unfortunate, but that's not the norm. It's not something you want to take everybody's rights away with, in other words. So this is what they're doing, is they're taking everybody's rights away. And it is unfortunate. It looks like some people tried to start a fire in the fireplace that you're not supposed to here, which is kind of odd that they have a fireplace, but they don't want you to use it. Private property, though. If that's what they want, that's what they get. So we got a little Y-shaped stick there. We can go dowsing looking for water. So, see a lot of people hiking out here today. So we're going to skirt down this way. I want to check out the pond. This time of year, the pond should be pretty active. So the 72-hour waiting period is what they want to do. And we'll see what happens with that. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So the House is going to be voting on that stuff today. And we did get a win Friday, though. Friday, what happened is they wanted to pass punishing firearm manufacturers and firearm distributors, outlets, for a firearm that's used for murder or mass murder, to have the ability for families to prosecute the manufacturer. Now, everybody knows there's 2 or 3 companies in Maine that manufacture firearms, and they represent a pretty good chunk of Maine's GDP. It's a money thing. They also saw Massachusetts and Connecticut and New York pass similar legislation. And the response from the manufacturers was, we're going to pull up stakes and we're going to move our factories to a friendly state. Have a nice day. Hope you don't miss our tax dollars too much, or our jobs. And that's what they did. And I guess the Maine Senate was smart enough to realize that. And that one didn't even come close to passing. Most of the Democrats voted against that too. So there you go. We did get one win. Oh, look at this. Those are all frogs. All of those things on the water are all frogs floating around. Listen to them. It's mating season for the frogs. They're spawning. Wow, there's a whole bunch of them right here. You can tell where they are because the water ripples. They know I'm coming because I'm making noise. Plus they feel vibrations. Let's go see what they're doing. Oh, there's one right there looking at us. Just floating on top of the water. Now, if there were some bass or pickerel in here, they would be really enjoying this nice dinner of frogs. Look at them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's a couple hundred of them easy. See that? They all see me coming. We'll make some more jump over here. Watch this. Pew! They took off. Wow, that's pretty cool. Nature is pretty awesome. Isn't that cool? We got a duck that just landed right in front of us. How awesome was that? There's a duck. All the frogs see the duck and they're taking off. Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, have a good day, ducky. Well, that was cool. It's just a little frog pond here, part of the biodiversity here at the bird sanctuary. We're going to get a whole bunch of mosquitoes, which we've already seen them cropping up. We're going to be walking past a part where they'll eat you alive in the summertime, especially early in the morning and early in the evening. So anyway, they passed 4 out of the 5 in the Senate. So that's a good sign that the gun manufacturer liability bill didn't pass. So the 72-hour waiting period, one of the problems I have with it, and I discussed it with my lawmaker, is that if somebody orders a firearm online, it takes a week, week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks before you get it. So why should somebody that buys it online have to wait an additional 3 days to be able to go pick it up once it's been delivered? And it can't be one of those things where, okay, the firearm has arrived, now I'll just go pick it up 3 days later after it showed up. No, you have to go do the background check and then come back again in 3 days. That's effectively, I think, the main reason why this is going to not be passed by the House. Has nothing to do with safety or anything. This has to do with Maine is very rural, Democrats own guns, and if you have a 72-hour waiting period, you effectively have killed gun shows in Maine. Because people aren't going to go to a gun show where you buy a gun and you can't leave with it. And some of these people that rent tables at a gun show drove 200-300 miles from northern Maine or something and came down to sell firearms. They're not going to sell you a firearm, and they're not going to get a table to sell firearms because of a three-day waiting period. It's not going to happen. And I think a lot of these Democrats from red districts are going to understand that, which is why the House didn't support that the last time. A mass shooting didn't change anything because Robert Card did not buy a firearm at a gun show from an unlicensed seller, and it wasn't a backdoor loophole buy. Now Joe Biden just signed an executive order, or he's going to be very shortly, that is going to close private sales nationally for all states, which of course is going to lose in the Supreme Court, and there's going to be a legal fight for that, and he is going to lose that. And if I were people, I just would ignore it, because he's not going to be around long anyway. And I don't mean that as anything facetious. I just have been hearing chatter about Democrats trying to force him out because he is not going to beat Trump, and I think everybody knows that. Problem they have is they don't have anybody to replace to compete against Trump. Gavin Newsom is too radical. Michelle Obama doesn't want to. She's probably the most popular face, but she's not somebody that has experience governing. She was just the first lady. So I don't think we're going to see that horse ride. And they just really don't have anybody. Who are they going to put? Bernie? They cheated against Bernie in the primary because Bernie was, they couldn't buy him. He was always arguing against the DNC, saying they were rigging things against them and stuff, and they couldn't control him. They don't want somebody they can't control. So, you know, that's just that, period. As we see a hunter orange wearing person from a mile away, which is the point of wearing orange. So we'll meander on this way. Hello. How you doing? I think all young people are like that guy. I'm sure you just noticed that too. Absolutely made no eye contact, was afraid of me, and that's because I look normal. I'm wearing camouflage cargo pants, and I'm wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt on top of a Victory Records, which is a hardcore record label, long sleeve, and I got a Bruins hat on. I do have a camera strapped to my head. Maybe some people just don't like that if they recognize it, which might be the case, actually. But that's too bad. But anyway, to me, that guy we just walked by looks like the type of person we see that does mass shootings. Looks like a loner. I don't want to stereotype. But anyway, so we got to see a duck land. We saw 200 frogs. And we have Democrats trying to pass gun bills in Maine. What more fun could we have on our walk? So anyway, the 72-hour waiting period and gun shows, that really puts the kibosh on most gun shows that Democrats enjoy going to. That's the point, okay? There's a lot of hunting stuff there. And the other thing is people come from out of state. I was researching this, and there are Maine wardens and other organizations for tourists. They're very careful about that, but they allow access to firearms from people out of state, because you have to remember that a Maine citizen has constitutional carry and is reciprocal with other states. But the problem is these people want to come here and go hunting as a tourist, and you can't drive through New York State, Connecticut, Massachusetts to get here with a firearm in your vehicle, whether you own it legally or not. It is illegal to have a firearm or ammo And I believe there's rules and stipulations with having the firearm separately in the vehicle with ammo locked up in a case separately from the firearm, or if you can even do it at all now. I have no idea what New York politicians have done. Every 10 minutes they pass something new. So I look at it as not my problem, but it's really all of our problem, because they're trying to do that across the country, realizing they can't get rid of the Second Amendment. So they're going to do their best to deter us from wanting to own firearms. And if we do, making it difficult to do so. They would love to see firearms licenses like they did in Illinois and New York, and have that nationally. I have no idea why Illinois and New York is able to do that. I know the Illinois thing is going to come to an end as soon as the Supreme Court gets to the assault rifle ban thing and the gun registries. So, but democracy is slow, often painful, and which is kind of good, because like the Democrats have been talking about this gun stuff since the shooting last year, and we're just getting around to voting on it now. So the information has been out there. The local media runs their propaganda. Not many people watch the local media. Unfortunately, the majority of people that don't own firearms or are a Democrat and they think nothing's wrong with this country still watch that. Some of them are waking up, obviously, by events going on that definitely affects them, and they voted for Biden, so they're having a lot of deep thoughts. So anyway, so those are the four that the Senate passed, and the one that the Senate did not pass. So I do know that the red flag laws and 72-hour waiting period are going to go back. They're going to go back to the House to be voted on this week. Maybe today, don't know for sure, but I'll get to something in a minute. Hey, how you doing? So we get maybe today they'll vote on that, maybe tomorrow, sometime this week before Friday. They might even wait till Friday. But when I left the house earlier, they were voting on other things, like allowing electronic voting on racing, horse racing, really important things like that. And Beano, some kind of bill having to do with Beano and electronic gambling. I don't know what that's all about, but I do know that they are going to vote on that, so I will be watching that. Now, I had made, all right, I got a confession to make. I had made a Woods Walk Gun Talk number 15 already yesterday, and I'm here redoing it because I had my information wrong on the gun bills. I thought they had passed and they were ready for the governor to sign them. But what the House had voted on before was, when it came out of committee, which is allowing it to proceed to the Senate, they weren't actually voting on it per se. So that was my bad. And so we got some more broken pines here from the most recent storm this weekend. So which one did this break off? Is it over here? Oh yeah, that looks like it. Where are you? Oh, that's a pretty big chunk right up there. Broke off of that one. Fell right here. Looks like they chopped it up already. They'll probably come by with their little ATVs with their pull wagons behind them and haul that off. So we're going to walk down this way where sometimes, not always, like it is soft and saturated and muddy. I'll have to be careful not to fall. I am wearing good boots, hiking boots that have good grip. So anyway, I decided to come and re-record my woods walk. And I had uploaded the other video too. It was all ready to go, and I actually put it public for a few minutes, and then I took it off. I was like, well, I don't want to spread misinformation, so I took it down. And it was good visuals though. It was kind of overcast, but it was warm. It was actually kind of nice. And I got to plot a course through this mud here. This is all mud. Mud, mud, mud. Be careful. There's some other people over here coming towards me. There weren't all these people out here yesterday. Today they're all over the place like a plague. Alright, so we're going to walk this way. And I won't talk about firearms with these people here. So I am going to walk over these rocks. Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Let's see, we got some more people down this way. I think this is the most people I've ever seen here, to be honest with you. Oh, they got a map. They have a trail map. They must not be here too often. Hello. How are you?
Good. Love the shirt.
Oh, thank you. That's my Iron Maiden shirt, Live After Death. One of my favorite live albums. Their rendition of Rime of the Ancient Mariner on that album is superb. And there's also a coinciding concert video with that, which is really good. There was also a live Scorpions video from the 80s concert that was really good as well. So anyway, as we come down here with the red mud, we'll see what the Maine legislature passes or doesn't pass. I do know that a lot of the bills, this was a bill requested by the governor, and that is going to hold some weight with some Democrat voters, which is why she did that. Because if you make your governor look bad, you might not get the funds you want when you want to run for re-election. And that does play a factor, and the Democrats are dirty that way. That's what they do. So, but we also have Democrats from red districts who are called Blue Dog Democrats. They don't like the Pelosi's and Schumers and this nonsense with transitioning kids and all this other stuff. So here, oh, I just stepped on my own shoelace and almost killed myself. That was an accident caused by myself. I came right off that rock because I was standing on my shoelace trying to walk with the other foot. All right, let's try this again. Take two. All right, this is all muddy. So I'm gonna have to plot my course through the logs and the rocks. Get on this rock. Hop over to this one. Hop down to this one. Watch my shoelaces again. You know, these really are good boots, but I'm telling you, the lace system on here has given me fits. If I tie it in a fashion where they don't come loose, then they're in the way. I need to cut them shorter. But anyway, we are walking along. I will survive. And over here, I'll come down this way. Balancing on rocks. So we shall see what the hell happens with the Maine legislature. Wow, look at that. We got trees down here and snapped right in front of us. That wasn't here last time. We got this tree leaning against another tree, which prevented it from falling down here. And we got a tree that uprooted straight ahead of my finger. Fell down that way. Oh wow, we got tree laying across here that fell. We got this one here that uprooted since the last time we came through. And it fell right next to a pile of wood where they cut up another one that fell a while back. So it's kind of a normal thing for here, but granted it's happened a lot more than in the past, I can tell you that much. So we'll skirt along this way. I am soaked with sweat. It's 60 degrees. It's nice. I'll walk on here, hopefully, without submerging my feet in muck. There we go. That's what I just walked across, that whole mucky muck-a-muck. And walked across those rocks. I made it. I survived. So this is the area that a couple times I've seen turkeys cut through here. This is like part of their trail, I guess. I'll call it Turkey Pass. How's that? Wild Turkey Pass. And we got Whale Rock, which some people were walking down there, so I'm not going down there today. Now we'll climb up this hill that I love so much. So hopefully we can come through this phase of gun legislation. The first phase of gun legislation after the mass shooting here in Lewiston. Hopefully relatively unscathed. I think the 72-hour waiting period isn't going to pass in the House. I would be really shocked, because that is the bread and butter for a lot of gun owners here in Maine who are Democrats, who just simply want to go hunting and not be bothered. And the simple truth and fact of it is, Robert Card did not use any gun shows. Private sales, nothing. Had nothing to do with that. This just looks like a gun grab, because it is. And I think that's what's going to sway some of these Democrats. Like the Democrat Representative Hamilton. Really cool, very, very smart, intelligent state representative. This black guy, he's awesome. And He hasn't voted for any of this gun legislation yet in the Senate. He was one of the Democrats that didn't vote for it. And he just blatantly said in his floor speech that he's not going to vote for it because until I see legislation, he said, that actually prevents mass shootings and not something else, I'm not voting for it. And that's what they should all be doing. Shouldn't even be a question. None of these bills should be up for vote. So Maine is a funny state. It's not like New York, and we have a love for our guns here. We just do, whether you're a Democrat or not, and that's because nobody lives here and you can actually go shoot them. Now, if you live in New York City, where are you going to go to shoot a firearm? That's going to be some indoor, over-regulated place with soundproofing and whatever else, and you'll have the New York regulations along with it, like you can't bring your own ammunition because they don't allow you to leave your house with your firearm and ammunition too. So if you leave your house with a firearm, it has to be to go to a range, and you cannot bring your ammo with you. So now you have to pay range prices for ammunition, which can be $30, $40, $50, $60 for a box of 9mm or what have you, because you're at their mercy. And the Democrats don't care. They want that. They want to deter people. So, whew, beautiful day today. So that's what they have going on with that. And I'm going to be watching them this week. See where that goes. If anywhere. It lost last year by a slim margin. We'll see if the mass shooting can push them over the hump. Keep in mind, they haven't elected any new people. And that's going to be important because these things didn't pass the last time. And unless constituents call and beg them to pass it, along with the people calling and begging them not to pass it, I don't see them really gaining much ground. But they do things like that, like the national popular vote that passed both chambers. I'm going to sit down on the bench here for a minute. So both chambers passed the national popular vote thing. I still say what drove that was Trump. And you have some Republicans in Maine who don't like Trump, or blue dog Democrats in red districts that don't like Trump, so they have to not badmouth Trump because the voters love Trump. So I think that's what this was about mainly. The simple fact is, when they reach up to 270, if they ever get there, which I still don't think they're ever going to get that, If they flip other states blue to give them the numbers, you're probably going to see states that are red right now or blue right now flipping red, and then changing laws that were already passed back to how they should be. So this is going to be a constant tug of war, and the matter is not going to be settled, because once you reach 270, what are the red states going to do in retaliation? They are going to make very strict voting laws. They're going to hold people accountable that cheat. They're going to do all kinds of things that wouldn't have been done if they hadn't passed this in enough states. That's just my opinion on that. Everything has a balance. Every action has an equal reaction, usually. Unless you are Joe Biden and he's asked, what are you going to do if Iran attacks Israel? He looks at the reporter and he says, don't. One word, don't. What did Iran do? Well, they launched between 200 and 300 drones and cruise missiles. And some of them did get through to 2 airports, military airports in Israel. And the Israeli War Cabinet voted. They wanted to retaliate. Netanyahu wanted to retaliate. And Joe Biden said, don't. Take the win, he said. In other words, the United States isn't going to have your back if you do that. What a slap in the face. So he tells the media, don't. And then he does nothing. When they did. Did he think Iran was going to fear him? Nobody's feared him yet. That's why Hamas attacked Israel, because Biden's weak. I don't know why people can't see that. So the United States did join with Israel to attack those missiles. They shot down most of them, almost all of them. So they did a good job. As far as I can tell, out of about 200 or 300, maybe a dozen got through on those airfields, which is pretty good, actually. And it looks like it was one of those ones that pop open above ground and all these little explosive pods come out and you carpet bomb a runway. That's what it looked like. So I saw some video of potholes out in there, and they were already fixing them. And that's the thing with that. That's just a political message they were sending. But more importantly, and this is really important and crucial to understand, this was the first time Iran has attacked directly Israel. And they've been financing Hamas, Hezbollah in Libya, and surrounding states around Israel, because Joe Biden, again, released $6 billion of seized Iranian funds with this nuclear arms deal being defunct. So I don't know what they thought they were going to accomplish if Iran was just going to decide, okay, well, they're being nice, we'll just... They don't seem to understand the religious and aspects and how crazy the mullahs are in Iran. They're friggin' Looney Tunes. They're religious nuts. So they don't care about the money. All they care about is a competing religion that lives next door that they want to get rid of. People seem to have forgotten Egypt invaded Israel in the 60s and pushed them basically to the sea. And it's a... Alright. Resuming walk. Change my battery. So anyway, Joe Biden hasn't deterred anybody. He's been deterring his voters. Another day we cannot see Mount Washington up there. Not today. So I'm going to wind up the walk through here for Woods Walk Gun Talk number 15. We'll trek on through another part of this. I'm going to continue on my my walk. I'm going to double back this way because I didn't do this the last time. I don't want to come out on that side of the park. I want to come out on the other. So I am just going to get on the green trail down this way, which is part of the way we came, because I want to go out through that other side of the park. I forgot to change my route through here today, but I wanted to get the frog pond, and that's what messed me up. So there we have it. There it is. Today's walk is going to be more like 6 or 7 miles, but you won't have to sit through all of that. You'll just get my park portion here. We're going to head down this way. Ooh, it's a butterfly. Butterflies are out early. I didn't expect to see that. That was cool. Hope you got to see that. It was a little black one with white markings. Probably classified more as a moth than a butterfly. They're very similar from what I understand. So here's a big rock that we walked past a few minutes ago. So I'm gonna head down the way I came. I wish I had thought of that. But I got my exercise in. I just don't like tracking the same ground twice. I don't think it really makes for good video, but I'll just shut up and walk. So with all of that, I am going to wait and see what they do with the Maine legislation. Hopefully we come out good with that. Now I did do a walk yesterday, not the Woods Walk Gun Talk number 15 one that I'm gonna trash. That was the day before. That was after we went shooting Saturday. But the walk I did yesterday was a regular walk, and I had about 3 15.5-minute miles. I did really good time. I got all my 5 miles in on one battery, which is also indicative of a good walk. And so I am going to have to come down this way, and I am going to have to go across the rocks again, across the water. But I should have been paying attention to my route instead of gabbing, because I did want to get more than, you know, I'm usually hard pressed to come up with 4 miles in here. You end up walking around in circles. So usually I just record my woods walk, shut it off, and then I go walk 3 or 4 miles outside of here, which is what I'm going to do now. So I just wanted to inform you what was going on. And I'm going to take the shortest route out of here. So it is nice that they have this here. You can come here and enjoy nature and all that. Just told me I've gone 3 miles. which to go 3 miles in an hour and a half is completely ridiculous. But it is a woods walk gun talk, and that's what happens. If I was just walking, city walking, I'd do 5 or 6 miles in an hour and 20. So, which is okay with me, as long as you don't mind. Sun's coming out again. It's one of those days where we get poofy marshmallow clouds. Sun pops in and out, but it is a pretty solid 60-62 degrees. It is nice. I've been waiting a long time for this. We've had a lot of cold walks, like that time we went down by the Garcelon bog. It was very windy and it was about 20 degrees. I was extra bundled up for that one. We made it. We made it. I managed to get a good video. At least the sun was out that day. But that was not very hospitable. So I'm going to take this shortcut down here. So I have like 2 apps going on my phone, and I don't want to pop open a browser to see what's going on with the voting in Augusta while I'm walking, because all that's going to happen with that is I'm going to suck up my memory, and then my camera apps are going to go crazy and I won't get accurate readings on my Google Fit app, which I like to track my walks with. Alright, here's the Whale Rock sign again. And I'll see what my mileage is when I come out at the end of this. Traverse these rocks. Try not to trip on my shoelaces again. I did not enjoy that. Could have pulled a muscle or something. That would have sucked. Very well could have ended my walking for the rest of the summer, just as I was excited about it being here. All right. Oh, this is peaceful. I really do enjoy it. Very, very grateful that this is here. One more bad stretch to go through here. I think I'd be better off going on the other side. I think. Yep. Looks like it. This is all muck. Alright. Now I get this rock here. This one, this one, this one. Alright. I made it. Almost. There we go. Right this way. All right. And we'll go up here. So what'd you think of all those frogs? Wasn't that cool? Must have been a couple hundred of them. And we also saw duckland. That was nice. Nice to see one that wasn't dying like we did a couple weeks ago. All right. There's my rock wall with the smiley face on it. Well, we'll make it out of here. This is the way we came. Sure you remember that. There we go. Ugh. There's a young guy running through here. All right. Now we're going to go up through here, make our way out of the park. We're going to go by the Montello Street Reservoir. Here's where that tree was down. Branch parts anyway. Broke off there. And up there. Looks like he changed his mind because it's muddy down that way. Can't do any jogging through there today. So we'll go up this way. That was a prime example of young people that can't match their clothes. That was atrocious. I don't know who that kid was, but in the old days we used to say, your mama dressed you funny. All right. We're gonna find our way out of the park up ahead. Do a little 360. head up here by the ticks and poison ivy sign. We see up here, please be aware that this meadow contains ticks and poison ivy, and it will soon. Oh, this is all soggy. Go over this way. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
All right, I gotta cross over this way. People up ahead with some kids with a sign. I got a sign taking a picture of something. Let's see what they're doing. Photographer. What is their sign? What's it say? She's got a scarf. Go for a piggyback. Well, kids are having fun. All right, where are we on mileage? That's what I want to know. 3.5 miles. We have an hour and 29 minutes, 3.57 miles, 7,297 steps. So I am going to leave the park, walk another 3.5 miles, and when we get out of the park here, I'll stop recording for the Woods Walk Gun Talk number 15. I hope you have enjoyed it. And I think I will end it up here by this sign. Or maybe not, but this is where we are, Thorn Craig Bird Sanctuary. That is the map of the whole place. You go walking with me, carved into the wood. So, I'm gonna head down this way, which routes out of the park. Oh, excuse me. I have the juices flowing pretty well. I'm covered in sweat. My whole backside is all wet. I can feel it running down my back because I'm not used to 60 degrees yet, if you can believe that. Physically. We'll get there though. Certainly glad I did not overdress today. This is the least amount of clothes I've worn on a walk since last year. Pretty soon I'll be wearing even less. Get the water running through here. Step across the brook. There's a tree that fell here that they chopped up. Fell right across. broke off of there. So imagine that. Another little brook. This is that part last year we saw a gazillion chipmunks. They were all over the place. Now I'm not seeing any. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess this is as good a place as any. Hope you enjoyed the Woods Walk Gun Talk number 15 with me. Thank you for walking with me, and we will talk to you soon. Have a beautiful week. See you on the next Gun Talk. Bye bye, ladies and gentlemen.